today. If you follow something else like the Whole30 or the Renaissance periodization or something like that, that's okay, as long as you're still logging it and you know what you're doing. I'm going to steer most of you guys in this room towards a zone prescription. Like, in general terms, if you're not used to weighing and measuring food, you've never done it before, all this talk about protein, carbs, and fat is kind of new to you. You're like maybe 20 pounds or more off of your goal weight. Go with a zone prescription. It'll work. Okay, and it works. It makes it very easy. If you're a little bit more dialed in, you're going for performance, like you want to shave 20 seconds off your Fran time. You want to add 5 pounds to your push press, something like that, and you're within 5 or 10 pounds of your goal weight, I'd steer you towards a macro plan, okay? All right, so here's how this works. With the zone, flip in your pages, zone people, well, everybody, just for the sake of doing this. Flip on back to the appendix where we're talking about the zone, page 7. So we'll help you here with this prescription, okay? All right, so for zone people, it's pretty simple to find your zone prescription. All you got to do is use that chart, and you're going to find your appropriate body type, okay? And that gives you your zone prescription for the day. So for an example, I'm going to take a large male. This is the example I put over here. This is an 18 block male. This is easy. This is what I sit at. Okay, an 18 block male. They're going to be prescribed 18 blocks throughout the day. It'll be a 5 block breakfast, 5 block lunch, 5 block dinner, a 2 block snack in between, and then a 1 block snack before bedtime. All right? A block is just a unit of measure used to simplify the process of making balanced meals. Okay? So this is zone stuff, okay? So this is the way that it works. 1 block of protein is about 7 grams of that meat, that chicken, that beef, the eggs, whatever it might be. And you can find on the next page all of the favorable proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, and their zone block number. So for example, 1 block of chicken is 1 ounce. 1 block of chicken breast is 1 ounce of chicken breast. Okay? Carbohydrates, like if we're talking about, let's just say blueberries, you'd measure out a ½ cup. That's a block of carbohydrates, right? So if I'm a 5 block male and I want to make breakfast, I could do 5 scrambled eggs. Okay, that would give me my 5 blocks of protein. I could pick a bunch of these different fruits. I can do a whole apple, because a half of an apple is 1 block, so that'd give me 2 blocks there. I can do some blueberries. You know what I mean? Everybody get it? Okay, so I'm going to have 5 blocks of each macronutrient at each meal. So protein, carbs, fat. Okay, we're getting that perfect balance of the 30, 40, 30. That's what we're after. Does everybody understand how the block prescription works? Any questions about that? If you do, just come and ask me. We'll talk about it. Okay? All right. So I'm moving on from the zone. Okay? Next, let's talk about a macro prescription, because this one gets a little bit more hairy. Okay. Macros. Here's how this works to get your macro prescription. This is not perfect math. Okay? It's not perfect math. So here's how you're going to figure out if you're on the right track, if you're doing a macro prescription. If you're trying to gain weight, for example, or lose weight, okay, the healthy way to go about doing that, you're not going to be able to go beyond, at the most, 2 pounds a week. So 1 pound is probably a little bit more realistic. So if we talk about 1 pound over the course of 6 weeks, you can lose or gain 6 pounds of mass. Okay, so a pound constitutes about 3,500 calories. Okay, so if you do the math on that, if you're trying to get in a deficit where you're losing a pound, what's the math on that? If you're trying to lose a pound, so that's 3,500 calories per week, divided by 7 days is what?
500 calories a day.
How much?
500 calories a day.
500 calories a day. So you need to be in deficit by about 500 calories a day. If I'm trying to lose a pound a week. Everybody understand that math? Okay? So the way that this works as far as finding your prescription, right? This macro prescription is set up specifically for CrossFitters who are working out 4 to 6 times a week. So that's all of you. Okay? And the way you'll do it is, if you're trying to lose fat, okay, you're going to take your body weight and multiply it by 12 to 14. 12, 13, or 14. Okay? If you're trying to get like really aggressive on it, be towards the 12. If you're not trying to be that aggressive on it, go towards the 14. That'll give you a little bit more caloric intake. Yep. Everybody follow?
Follow.
Okay, if you're trying to gain weight, you want to be at 17 or more. Okay? And if you're trying to maintain, you're just going after something like performance gain. You want to be between 15 and 16. So body weight times that number, that's your total calories through the day. Okay?
Sir, yes, sir.
Everybody's with us. Okay, next, we're going to determine how much protein we should be taking in during the day. Of those total calories, how much of it should be protein? Okay, so here's how this works. Your body weight times 1 to 1.25. Okay, if I'm trying to lean out a little bit more, I'm going to be closer to that 1.25 number. If I'm a little bit more towards the performance, it's going to be times 1. So I weigh 190 pounds. So that means I need to be consuming about 190 grams per day of protein, right? Because I'm after that performance thing, that's my number. So what you're going to do is take body weight times 1. That gives you the grams of protein that you consume. Now I want to figure out what that works out to for calories. So I'll take the grams, the 190 grams, and I'm going to multiply it by 4. That will tell me how many calories I should be consuming.
760.
Okay, thank you. 760. Okay, so what's 190 times, let's say 13?
2,470.
So 2,470 total calories
For the day.
during the day. Protein should be made up of whatever that first number was that he gave us. 7 something. Okay? So I'm going to enter that. You can actually go on to your MyFitnessPal app and enter in. This is what I'm aiming for every day. Okay? All right, after we figured out our calories and grams for protein, the next thing you're going to do is figure out how much fat you should be consuming. Okay? In general terms, CrossFitters should all be consuming between 30 to 40% of their calories from fat. What should that number be? Okay, if I'm trying to lean out, I'm trying to lose some weight, okay, I'm going to go towards the higher fat number. If I devote more calories to fat, that means less calories are going towards carbohydrates, means my insulin is staying even lower, and I'm going to burn more adipose tissue, fat, okay? So here's how this works. Let's say my number is 35. I'll shoot it right down the middle. So 35% of my total 1,200 some odd calories are coming from fat. Okay? Now I'm going to take that number that we just did the math on. Okay, so what was my total calories again?
2470
2470
times 0.35.
times 0.35. Somebody give me that number.
I got you.
741. So 741 of my calories are now going to come from fat. To figure out how many grams of fat that is, I'm going to divide by 9, and that will tell me how many grams. So on each one of these, I want to know calories and grams. Okay? So now we're just whittling away. Now I've got protein out of the way, I've got fat out of the way. The last thing is carbs. That's all that's left. Okay? So here's how you do the math on this. I'm going to take my total calories, the 27 whatever it was, subtract out the protein that I already did the math on, 700 and some odd. And then I'm going to subtract out the fat, 700 and some odd calories for fat. Whatever is left, that's what goes towards carbs. Everybody get it?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay? So then, I figured out the calories, so now I'm going to take that calorie number, divide by 4, and that will tell me how many grams of carbohydrates I need to consume.